What was your role in the Warrior Way project?
So with the Warrior Way project, I had a community member that had emailed myself and Dr. Ryan to talk about just the possibility of renaming the road that ran from Heritage Avenue to the access road off of 121. So my role as the campus principal was what do we need to do in accordance with district policy to be able to rename that road. Came to find out that it didn't have a name. It's not a city road. It's just a travel street. So for us, it wasn't something that had any prior name, so we could do with what we want. And to me, it was a great idea. It was something that I think was a great way to remember Jaydan, and something that will last a long time, long past my time at Colleyville Heritage.
Why Warrior?
I think through Jaydan's fight, that spirit was something that he embodied, something that he and his family and our school community really embraced. He was a young man that if you didn't know that he was fighting cancer, if you didn't know what he was going through, you would have never known. And to me, that embodies what the term warrior means. If we are to continue to portray that spirit, I think we got to embody the spirit that he had and he lived with, that I think everybody grew to know and love. And I think for me, that it was a no-brainer, and it's a no-brainer because of the person that Jaydan was.
Tell me about the relationship you had with Jaydan.
My second year at Colleyville Heritage, I knew Jaydan well enough. Obviously, you always wish you know somebody a little bit better. I think, through the struggles this year, Jaydan wasn't able to come to school a whole lot, so I wasn't able to get to know him as much as I would have wished. Kind of what I just truly valued about Jaydan is he never had a bad day. He always had a smile on his face. And even when you knew he was in incredible amounts of pain, you wouldn't know because of how happy he was to see you. And, for me, that's something that I have tried to embody, to continue just every day making people happy to see you, and that you're genuinely enjoy each and every day that you have, because you never know when it's going to be your last.
Talk to me about Jaydan the person.
As a person, I think Jaydan had a very giving spirit. He wanted those around him to feel better than they did before they started talking to him. I think, his affinity for mascots, I think really embodied that, because I think the goal of any mascot is to make others around you feel better or promote pride and spirit. And I think that's who Jaydan was. And I think, even before the cancer, that was something he aspired to do, and that was something that was important to him. So I think, Jaydan the person was what you saw, whether he was in the Buster costume or in the hallways or at home or wherever. He was the same person everywhere you went, and that was somebody that was trying to make the people around them feel better about themselves, and just enjoy every moment that they had.
Tell me more about the spirit of Buster the Panther.
Every school has a mascot. Every school has something that kind of unifies what we do. At Colleyville Heritage, it's a great day to be a Panther, and I think a lot of people rally around the thought of one image, one thing, and I think Buster the Panther is that for a lot of people. When you go to games, when you go to events, and you see the mascot, the elementary age kids just immediately gravitate to the mascot. They want to take their picture. Some of them are scared. Some of them are excited. But I think as a school community, our high school kids truly appreciate that is a representation of them, that is a representation of our campus and who we are. And as corny as it sounds, that a mascot costume can embody that level of spirit amongst an entire school community.
You mentioned the school community. This student body coalesced behind Jaydan in his fight against cancer. Mm-hmm. Describe this school's rallying support for Colleyville's warrior.
You know, I've been around public education my entire life, and in very few, very rare instances have I seen a school community just rally around one thing, one constant thing. And Jaydan was that for us, and that warrior spirit was that for us. I mean, we had the senior pep rally in the fall, and we had a group of students that approached us that they wanted to do something there. And then we had another event where another group of students wanted to do something, and completely separate from each other. But our school community bought into the spirit and bought into him as a person, and I think that speaks to his character. I think that speaks to who he was, and what will last with so many people beyond their time at Colleyville Heritage. But he was a unifying force for so many people. You didn't have to know him to be motivated by him.
His courage taught valuable lessons to classmates, teammates, and even adults. What did you learn in your time with Jaydan?
You know, the thing for me is, with Jaydan, I wouldn't have known he was battling cancer if I didn't know. And I think for me, what I have taken away from my relationship with him is to be that positive influence on people's lives. We get the opportunity every day to make an impact on somebody. Let's make it a positive one. Let's make it something that is going to have a lasting impact on them. You know, so often in life that we get presented with negative things, that Jaydan was that positive hope that a lot of people just really valued. And me personally, it just gave me a newfound energy and newfound enthusiasm for what I do. I think I have one of the best jobs in the country, and I value getting to come to work here every day, and I hope to make that positive impact. And Jaydan really helped me see how important it is for me to be that positive influence, because it can truly make a difference.
Rarely does a student have a campus street named after them. Why was it important to commemorate Jaydan in that way?
I think, so many. I had several groups of students that came to me wanting to honor him in some way, shape, or form, and I felt like this was something that could have a lasting impact and a lasting remembrance of who he was and what he embodied. I think looking at our kids and our school community, that they really wanted an opportunity for us to commemorate him, his life, and his spirit. And I think Warrior Way is just a glimpse into that. It's something that our students will remember, and every time they turn right off of Heritage Avenue onto Warrior Way, they're going to think about Jaydan and the impact that he had on them.
When you read Warrior Way, what does it mean to you?
To me, it means sacrifice. It means hope, and it means an undying motivation to never give up and never focus on the negative things that have been placed before you, but focus on how I'm not going to let that negative thing impact who I am and impact who I'm going to be. And I think, to me, that I take that from Jaydan and who he was.
As students come and go, students will start coming to Colleyville who don't know Jaydan and don't know his story. Mm-hmm. So what should they think when they see Warrior Way?
I think, for the kids that that don't know Jaydan, who aren't Colleyville Heritage students now, I think what we've got to do as a school community is to continue that spirit, to continue the thought process of what it means to be a warrior. Obviously, our mascot's the Panthers, but you can utilize that spirit in every facet of being a Colleyville Heritage High School student. And to me, it has to be a part of our school culture. It's already very ingrained in our school culture, and it's something that we have to continue to make a prominent piece of our culture.
As principal, what would you say is the legacy Jaydan has left behind at Colleyville Heritage?
I think you see his legacy in so many things around our campus. I think you see it in the mascots on Friday nights or Tuesday nights or whatever ball game they're at. I think you see it in how people treat each other. I think, we live in a day and age where respect for your fellow man isn't all that common. And I think Jaydan and his beliefs and how he treated people really cultivated that culture of treat people better, because the opportunity to make an impact is truly profound. And I think that piece of the culture, I think, can directly be attributed to Jaydan.
Do you have any message for the community about Jaydan?
I'm just glad I got to know him, and I'm glad that while short period of time, I'm glad he made an impact on my life, and hopefully made me a better man, a better principal.
Mm-hmm.